Ironwood Games, this is Andrew, and welcome back for another episode of Sid Meier's Railroads. Alright, last time we looked at the tutorial, we saw how everything works. We're just going to jump in here to a single player game. Alright, on this we've got a couple of kind of scenarios, if you want, that are preloaded that you can play. So there's some real world locations, and then there's some just custom maps designed for multiplayer. So we could do a Germany, France, Great Britain, the Northwest US, the Midwest, Northeast, and the Southwest. So again, it has some, your major cities: Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Phoenix. We're going to start with the Southwest. It is an extremely easy scenario suitable for beginners. So that's what we're going to do. And then it's got a couple of goals here. So we're starting at 1850. This would be right after the gold rush, right? Or at the beginning of the gold rush, starting in 1849. So 1850, they try and grab some historic context and make this realistic here. So by 1899, we need to have built a shipping lane from Flagstaff to Phoenix and Las Vegas. So we need to go all the way from Flagstaff to Vegas. Get in on the gold rush. We want to ship 5 carloads of gold to get yourself started with some spending money. So this kind of gives us our direction early on and tells us in this scenario what we're going to want to do. All right, by 1930, we want to build a safe passage through the desert by connecting LA and Las Vegas, and expand the company to unheard of heights by attaining a net worth of $5 million. And then by 1950, that's the end of the scenario. Casinos are thirsty for more power. Tap into the energy business by building or purchasing a power plant in Vegas. So strengthen your company's assets by attaining a net worth of $10 million. So we'll double it in those last 20 years. From 1930 to 1950, we need to double it up to $10 million. And by 1950, we want to eliminate all the remaining competition. So then you can go in and adjust some of these settings. You can do just the first part, the 1850 to 1889, or we can do the full scenario to 1950. You can change your difficulty level. So train table mode is just sandbox, just completely free. Investor, you start with I think the most cash shares, and your costs are all 100. And then you can move up your level. You reduce your starting cast, and some of your costs go up. And then all the way to the top level of Robber Baron is the hardest difficulty level. You start with very little cash, your costs are up a lot, and your revenue is down a little bit. All right, so we're going to start with Investor. And then we've got routing difficulty level. This is set to medium by default, which means trains will stop if there are any other trains blocking their way to the destination. But if they wait too long, they'll pass through each other. So tries to be realistic, but that it is a little bit forgiving. If you don't realize a train is stuck, they will just kind of ghost through and continue on. If we put it on easy, trains will keep moving regardless of how many other trains are on the track. They'll just kind of ghost through each other. The trains their speed will be reduced based on priority. So the highest priority will move at full speed. The other ones will all slow down as they kind of pass each other. And then hard is trains will stop if there's any other trains blocking their way to the destination. This is the most realistic. I like doing this on hard. This, I feel like, is the interesting part to me. Make sure you have to do your routing, your double tracking, and so on. And then the question is the number of AI players we want to have. So we could have no other players on this one and just be out on our own, or we could have up to 3 other players competing with us. I'm just going to leave this off on 0. I'm just going to be the only one out here right now in the gold rush. See how well we do on some of these other things. And then you can always randomize your landscape and your locations, but since we're doing the kind of the scenario based on the real world, I want to keep this here. So we have a little bit of background knowledge, prior knowledge that we're bringing into this. All right, we'll launch the scenario. It's going to build the map and everything here. All right, so it's January 1850. The year is 1850, and 2 recent events have changed the shape of the United States forever. The first is that California has joined the growing nation, stretching the country from ocean to ocean. The second is that gold has been found in those new territories. Opportunities for wealth abound for all who are willing to brave the rough terrain. All right. And so here we are. Let's pause right here. Okay, so it's P for pause, just to get a lay of the land, kind of see what we want. See what we have around here. So we've got a gold mine down here in Yuma. We've got some oil spots here. We've got some vineyards that will produce grapes. We've got a farm produces some corn here. We've got a cattle ranch. We've got, so let's see, we're down here with, we've got San Diego over here that they want some livestock, so that might be a thing. We've got this beef company down here. We've got Yuma City. They have a, let's see, they process the gold ore into gold bars and the grapes into wine. So there's a couple industries there. If we keep going along here, we have Eloy. They have an oil refinery, and it looks like a slaughterhouse to turn the beef into food. Here we go. Las Vegas is up here. They're demanding wine, but they do have a winery or a winery that will let them turn that in. They also have that power plant that we want to buy, but we're going to need probably a little bit of money to be able to do that safely. And then somewhere over here on the coast, there's Bishop. We should have Los Angeles. It's probably down here. Here we go. So here's Los Angeles. Again, we want to have our goals. We want to connect Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And we've got Flagstaff, Phoenix, that we want to connect up to Vegas as well. So let's see how we find our objectives. Victory screen. Here we go. So we can log in here. We see our victory conditions. Again, we have 49 years. So our first objective, we want to build a ship lane from Flagstaff to Phoenix and Las Vegas. So we need to connect those 3 cities. And then we want to deliver 5 carloads of gold. Okay, so we're going to start looking at those. We're the only player. We can get a look at our finances, which we don't need for now. And then all of these, again, we can come back to as we start going and see what we have. So let's see, where is our starting track? I think our starting track is down here in Yuma. Yeah. So we're going to start from here, and we're kind of build out. So we have a couple of goals we want to, I know we're jumping around. If we want to build from Phoenix to Flagstaff to Las Vegas, we want to get lots of goods to Las Vegas. Flagstaff is looking for passengers, mail, food and oil, and Phoenix, again, kind of wants all of the goods. So let's start here in Yuma, and let's decide what we want to do. So I think we want to bring some, we have some passengers waiting to go out. We have high demand for passengers, but I think first what we're going to do is start bringing some goods into Yuma. Again, we've got these vineyards out here to bring in some grapes. We've got some drilling companies out here that we could bring in some oil. We might want to take those to Blythe because they have the refinery. Bring the vineyards to Yuma and probably the gold to Yuma. So I think we're going to start with that. Is we're going to build a track. Bring some of this track down to our gold mine down here. I don't know. We want to reduce our costs. We don't want to make this too expensive. I don't really want to make this too steep. We do need to get it into the green zone. I guess the other question is this going to go anywhere else beyond here? And I don't think so. I think this is just going to be the end of the road here, is just going from the mine down to Yuma. So the question is really how expensive do we need to, how much do we need to spend to make that work? So we're in our 80,000s here. Maybe 82. Looks like it's a good stretch there. Not too bad of a curve. And let's build a depot right here. So let's go ahead and build an annex. So now we've got a little station here. Again, we're still kind of paused. I don't want to lose any time. I just want to kind of get some stuff set up on this with my starting cash here. So the next thing we want to do is buy a train, run a train. We'll start with just one car. Again, I think each car is going to add to our cost, but I'm not quite sure on that. Let's look at our engine options we have. We have the 4.4 American, which seems pretty good. We have the 4.2 Norris, and the 0.4 Grasshopper. But I think we're just going to use the American. This is a good starting point. And you can see with kind of the chart here shows you with how many cars it has, its max speed, and what can it do on that track we just laid. It was 322 kilometers per hour was our max speed. And if we have freight, I'm not sure which one gold counts as. Again, that's going to slow us down here, but that's all right. That's just what we've got to work with right now. As time goes on, we might get some new cars. So our max speed right now is 80 kilometers per hour. If we add another car, we can see again that goes down to 66. So we're going to start with one train for right now, or one car. We're going to go from the Yuma Gold Company down to the terminal. And at the terminal, we're going to remove that car because we're not taking anything back to the gold mine. This is one of those places where it's a little unrealistic, right? We can just kind of ditch the train car here and increase our speed. So we're not taking the car, but we're representing that it's empty, right? In that with that speed increase here. So that's just going to travel again from our mine to Yuma, drop off the gold, and come back for another trip. We'll just keep this as normal priority. For now, it's going to cost us 60,000 for that engine. So again, you can see our funds are dropping a little bit. This guy's ready to go. If we click on our engine, one of the things we didn't talk about in our last one is you can go in and name the train, change the names. They get named by default. I guess they have to have records, right, to get named. So you can think again like historic routes and things. On that, you can see the actual profit of this train. You can look at the statistics for this individual train. We can customize it though, so we can go in and change its paint scheme. We can choose some different logos for it, and choose, since this train is kind of our gold mine train, we're gonna just make it this gold color. We're gonna uncheck apply to all trains because we're just gonna do that. We could change the skin. Ooh, that's nice. I like it. So we'll have a nice black body and a gold little cabin there. We'll apply that. The other thing we can do, you can lock your camera here, so just follow this train if you're just kind of enjoying the experience. And then we can look at the report for this train. We can go into modify its route. We can upgrade its engine, or we can just kind of delete the train altogether. So those are going to be some features that come in a little bit later when we're as we adapt some more features, or we build our empire up with some more functionality here. So let's see what else we want to do. Here we've got a terminal in the city. We could upgrade it to a station. I think we're fine. For now, we're going to focus on our goals, which is kind of connecting those things. We're just kind of starting a base line for some profit here. So let's go again. Let's lay the track from here, just because, again, we have to start with the existing track. And because we can, I think we're going to try and connect up to Blythe here for some passenger service. Blythe, although it looks like doesn't have any passengers, they just want the oil. And so we can connect up to get the oil there, and then bring the oil, the refined oil, back down here. Or we can try and bring it out to these vineyards. This is an interesting idea. We want to kind of make a main section and then make some offshoots for some of these stops if we need to, which you'll see what I mean here. So let's go ahead and build this, expand our track out to Blythe. And then the question is really, where do we want to put it? This is the straightest track. But it's going to be a little bit of a tighter curve to get to those the oil drills down here. So I think we're going to put it off to this side here. Let's see, if we put it right there, gives us 212,000 cost, which is really all of our cash that we have right now. So I don't know. Again, I don't know that we're going to send any traffic between Blythe and Yuma. let's cancel that for now. Let's rethink here a little bit. And see. We've got Yuma has passengers. It will have mail. Where do we want those to go? So again, let's think. What are our cities here? We do want to get to Phoenix at some point. Connect there. So maybe that's more important right now. To make a connection up to Phoenix. Again, we'd like to get this stretch across here from Los Angeles. I imagine the track's going to want to curve up through Tehachapi, Barstow, and then out to Vegas. Up this way, then from Vegas, if we're running it down, we've got to find our cities to Phoenix, and then perhaps around here to Flagstaff. Coming this way, and Phoenix. I'm just kind of trying to get a mental picture of where my rails are going to go through, so I can kind of decide what the best approaches for each city are going to be. So I think Phoenix, we're just going to come across kind of east-west here. So let's worry about from Yuma out to, I'd like to get out to one of these wineries. Then again, now, excuse me, now that I'm looking at it, maybe Phoenix is far enough south that we're going to come across here, down through here and across this way. Or we could double down through our mine, sweep around here, and then gently come kind of nestle through these. Which still doesn't answer the question of how we're going to get from these vineyards out here. So let's cancel that. Let's lay some track this way and see if we kind of make a main thoroughfare here. This is a gentle downhill. Yeah, we're going to do that. It's going to use a lot of our funds, but that's okay. It's going to get us a good stretch. And then we're going to see, we're going to have, I'm going to put a track from about here over on this side of the vineyard. All right, so we'll get a little spur here, and we'll build an annex for our vineyard there. All right. Does that work? Maybe not. Yeah, it already has an annex. Okay. So then, let's see if we can get a train from the Yuma Vineyard down to Yuma. And then down in Yuma, we'll take off that car. I think we're going to do 2 train. Since it's a little bit longer, we'll do 2 trains of the grapes. We've got the distillery and the smelter that are going to turn both of our raw products into some finished goods. And hopefully this will start generating us some revenue. And this view, actually, we should go into this view more. This is going to give us a nice view. So I'm thinking what we're going to do, like I said, we'll probably double some track down here. And then maybe come off here for Eloy and wind up through here to Phoenix to come in east to west here. This track we might take to Flagstaff. We might take it up to Vegas. It might just feed a bunch of these things up here, and we run through Blythe and over to Los Angeles. I think if we come up Los Angeles a little bit here, we can get track down to San Diego, and then like we talked about, kind of run through Tehachapi, Barstow, Bullhead City, I think there's this one, and up to Vegas, and then run over to Flagstaff, and have all these kind of connected here. We're going to end up with lots of track. As you can see, again, it's kind of expensive. We need to start getting some money. We're on pause right now because we haven't started, just to get us kind of a set on that. So let's go back to that route, actually, and see, because we added that extra car, so now we have to pull that car off at Yuma Terminal. All right. So here we go. We're going to zoom out a little bit. And I just want to kind of see how my economy starts working. I'm up down to my 10,000. I could sell some stock to get some cash. And I'm the only player, so that's kind of a cheap and easy way to do it. But it does cost us more to buy it back, and so I'd rather not sell the stock right now. So let's go on unpause here. It's been a little while to get this kind of set up, but let's unpause this here, see how these are working, and then maybe we'll pick back up. We'll see if this works out well. We'll pick back up another time to kind of expand our empire here. So let's unpause. We can see, so we built our annex here. We're filling up our ore on this train down here. It's running to Yuma. And the same thing, our vineyard is filling up. We got 2 cars out from the vineyard. And it's going to run here. All right. So we're going to let it run for a little bit. It's August now. Time does go fairly quick here in terms of this. Now, we're going to have this problem here. We've got only 1 track, and we've got 2 trains trying to come in, so we are going to kind of want to deal with that. I'm going to pause as soon as we get here to January. Again, just so we can see in that first year, we know we want to double this track here so we can avoid this kind of log jam here. But let's look at our trains report and just see for each of these what they've done. So the Yuma Vineyard route here has earned us 31,000 in this, I mean, over the last 5 years, but it's just been 1 year. So maintenance of 8,000. We brought in a good haul with these. This is going to let us expand for the next year. The Yuma gold mine route, though, only brought in 6,000 for that 1 car with 8,000 costs. And so we're actually losing money on that. So we're going to want to look at this route. Let's edit that and see. The one thing to see again is if we had, oops, delete that. If we go back to this route here, let's add another car and see what happens. Close. We might be able to get enough gold, generate enough gold to take 2 trips, and then it'll start paying for itself. All right, and we'll hit OK on that. Again, we're still kind of paused. We're looking at what we've got. So in the year, the 440 American costs 8,000, so we need to be getting a little bit more. These vineyards are making a bigger profit right now than that gold mine, which is fine. We'll probably try and expand to the other vineyard this year as well. Let's look at our goods and what our transport is. Just want to look through our reports here since we've done the first year, and then we'll call it a day on this episode. So we didn't do any passengers. We haven't done any mail. Oh, here we can see the price for a train of these. So the grapes, okay, is 19,000, and the ore is only 6,000. So we do get more off of the grapes. The gold, once we manufacture it, will be 5,000 or 50,000. I apologize. And the wine will only be 24,000. So getting that gold going is going to be better. We're going to want to start delivering that to places that desire gold. But for now, of these 2 raw goods, the grapes is going to be the best. The ore, 6,000 for delivering the ore, turning it into a gold and delivering that would be 56 total. The grapes at 19, and then a wine for 24 would be, I believe, 43,000 total. So overall, the gold is going to be a little more profitable depending on where we're taking that. I think the wine has more things. All right, we don't own any industries. We don't own any patents. We haven't gotten to our victory. We still have 48 years. And let's see. My company's worth, you can see, it's gone down a little bit, which is fine. We spent a lot more money than we're bringing in. If you're playing with multiple players, you want to be aware of this because, again, if your company value goes down, they can buy out your remaining shares. Is one of those things. And then we can see our total finance report. And this year's is the one we're looking at. So we brought in 45,000, but we spent 506,000 on our tracks, our infrastructure, and those things. So we're going to keep building as we bring in cash. We're going to keep building here. We can see a breakdown of station, track, trains, and the train maintenance. And so each year we're gonna keep an eye on this, and we're gonna go forward. So in our next, again, we're gonna pause here for now. In our next episode, we're gonna prioritize doubling up this track in Yuma so we can avoid some congestion here. Connecting in this other vineyard to deliver some more grapes, and look at trying to expand out to another city. Work on maybe getting some passenger and some mail delivery, and then taking these finished goods, the gold and the wine, somewhere as well. So that'll be what we'll do next time. Thanks for joining me today. Getting started on Sid Meier's Railroads, our Southwest U.S. Scenario. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave us a comment if there's any particular games you want to see, anything you'd like us to try. Otherwise, go ahead, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.